In 1979, a small group of disciples in Lexington were considering whether to close their church or trust God one last time. They had only seen one baptism in the previous 2 years, so they begged God to increase their mustard seed of faith.
When Kip and Elena came to Boston, I believe that the friendship and unity and the family concepts, it was something that was falling on fertile ground because we were so desperate.
People came from the main line, they came from the Christian churches, Crossroads Campus Ministries, all the other campus ministries, bus ministries, black churches, one-cuppers, all these different things. And see, what was amazing was in Boston was being called from all these different factions, people by the Holy Spirit.
God clearly used the Boston church to raise our vision of not only have a great campus ministry and a good church, but a church where everyone was a disciple. A church where there weren't different standards of commitment, and a vision not only to evangelize the campus, but the whole world.
Go to every town and place, go to all the human race, teach them love and teach them grace, let God's love show on your face. One by one, and soul by soul, to all the world, to every nation.
We now have churches in every nation of the world that if we want to connect our families with these churches, we now can. Que continúa la conquista.
Just because we can. Everywhere.
In 1991, Pat and I were asked to begin the work of Hope Worldwide.
God has blessed our efforts dramatically, and we now have programs in 80 different countries around the world.
In 1991, we had our first fifth-generation planting. The church in Boston sent a church to London. From London, we went to Sydney, Australia. From Australia, we went to Auckland, New Zealand. And in 1991, we planted a church in Fiji. It was then that our faith began to really be strengthened, that we would, in fact, reach all nations.
It was a time of incredible faith and vision and seeing God just do amazing things. That there were so many thousands of people who were baptized and so many hundreds of churches that were planted, and that we were seeing Matthew 28 really become a reality in our generation.
Well, 15 years have come and gone, and look what God has done. We're over 90,000 now, and we've only just begun. What started in the Bible talk is preached around the world. It's a radical love, and it's up to us to make it heard. It's a radical love that we share. Oh, it's a love that's heard around the world. It shows how much God cares. It's a radical love.
We've really moved as a brotherhood from more of a military corporate model to a model of extended family and influence based on expertise and relationship. I think we've really gone from one-man leadership at a lot of levels to a team leadership at a lot of levels that's really used more gifts to add to the mix.
One of the lessons that we learned from the crisis is our need to desperately depend on God, and that God is the one who gives the victory. We need to always humble ourselves before Him and depend on Him, or He will humble us.
My wife Irene and I came to Boston from Germany in 1985 and became disciples in 1986 in Lexington. We are so grateful that our 6 children are all faithful disciples. One of the joys of being in the Boston church for the last 33 years has been seeing the number of evangelists, elders, and teachers being raised up in Boston, New England, Europe, and around the world. The New England School of Missions is constantly training young people for the ministry and sending them into the mission fields at home and abroad. We are blessed with our 15 elders, and more are in our elders training program. I am inspired to see God raise up teachers in all of our 8 regions with the goal to broaden and strengthen this important role in God's church. Passing the faith on to the next generations has been the passion of Boston Disciples for many years. God has blessed that passion with numerous new leaders and members who have a vision to grow the church to new heights and depths.
It's been encouraging to really see a revival, the fruits of revival. Really, we've seen a lot of conversions, and one at a time, one conversation at a time, one Bible talk at a time. And then you see, you started to see one baptism and fruit and joy and really a lot of faith return, and it's really been a blast.
I really am excited that we have a brotherhood based on shared convictions, purpose, and mission.
From that mustard seed of faith in 1979, God grew a mighty church in Boston and then multiplied it into other churches who planted other churches around the world. Our focused mission field now is Boston, New England, Europe, and others. Some have already joined the great cloud of witnesses who are cheering us on. Generations of faith heroes are still fighting the good fight, while new generations of disciples are taking up God's torch of truth and grace.
My vision is that we'll have a Bible talk in every town in the Boston area and all of New England. And my region, the South Coastal region, has 59 towns.
With the city of Boston trending at 66% single, my dream is for the singles ministry to productively reach and attract these single men and women to make great impact for God.
Con 41 millones de personas que solo hablan español y 12 millones de personas que son bilingües.
Nuestra visión es ser el lugar donde todas estas personas puedan encontrar a Dios y adorarle y ser salvos.
Our vision is for there to be disciples on every campus in the Boston area.
Our vision is to see the gospel spread to teens all over Boston.
To God be the glory. Thank you to every person who has honored the Father's love and Jesus' sacrifice so that we could be here today. A foundation has been laid that will be taken farther and higher to fulfill Jesus' dream of making disciples in all nations, in every generation.